to you. England fans at Euro 2016 have been caught up in further clashes with police in Lille ahead of the next group game tomorrow night. It comes as Russian supporters have led off a flare during this afternoon's match against Slovakia, despite warnings against any such disturbances. Well, let's go straight to our correspondent Siobhan Robbins, who's live in Lille. What can you tell us, Siobhan?
Yeah, quite a confusing situation in the last hour. We were here about maybe half an hour ago in the area you can see behind us. Down that street, English fans were singing, drinking. And then to my right, we heard a banger being let off. It's not clear who let that off, but that seemed to prompt a crowd to rush out from those bars up this street, pursued by the police, who you can see now have stood down. Now, they ran round the block, were then fighting with police, who then in response let off tear gas. We saw batons drawn, some English fans hit with batons. The makeup of the crowd that was running around those streets isn't completely clear because it was such a fast-moving situation. What we know is that in the bar where some of them came from, there were definitely English and Welsh supporters drinking. Now, I asked one of the English supporters afterwards who had been in that cloud of tear gas, what had started it in his point of view. He told me that he believed that Russians had let off that banger and that they were pursuing a crowd of around 20 Russians. That's something that I just can't confirm. I didn't see who let that banger off. But what we do know is that earlier today, at the end of that game between Russia and Slovakia, a flare was let off in the crowd when Russia scored. That, of course, is one of the things they've been told not to do. They're already on penalty possibility of disqualification. They're on suspended disqualification now. And so it's unclear what will happen to them, whether UEFA will investigate and if that will be enough to get them kicked out of the tournament. However, these scenes, we know that both Russia and England were almost on the last warning. They were told any more fighting and you're both out of the tournament. So these scenes could be really quite difficult for the national teams of both England and Russia.
And Siobhan, there'll be serious concerns now for later on this evening.
Yes, that's right. You can see, if I move out of the way, you can see the highly trained, they're the riot police you can see with those shoulder pads on. They're there already. They told us that there were 2,500 specially trained police in this city today, watching around 10,000 different fans. We know that because of the problems that had been happening in Marseille last week, that the French had been speaking with representatives from all 24 nations involved, other police representatives, trying to work out how to ensure that order was maintained on the streets, especially as we did see clashes between England fans and Russian fans in Marseille, as well as some smaller scuffles last night here. I think today the mood seemed much better. It seemed like maybe everything here was going to go okay, but it's just a touch paper, and as soon as the alcohol's been flowing all day, despite the alcohol ban, people have been drinking in the bars, and as soon as one little thing happens, it seems to ignite this anger, and this violence then flares again.
Siobhan, thank you. The Chancellor has been hit